Hello everyone, my name is Chris Gibbons. I am going to be your instructor for the next 8 weeks in HCA 410, Introduction to Healthcare Finance. In this welcome video, I like to go over some of the class basics before we begin our 8 weeks together. But what I would like you to do is do me a favor, pause the video and print out the syllabus, because we're going to do a quick syllabus walkthrough. And I think it's best if you have that already in hand. So pause that video, print the syllabus, and come back. All right, well, excellent. Hopefully you have paused the video and you've come back and you have your syllabus in hand. I always think it's a great idea to have a hard copy of the syllabus. It just makes for a quicker reference as you go through the course, something you can just tuck right into your textbook, and you can again have it at the ready for you. Of course, it's always available within the course shell here within Canvas for you to print out and have a PDF version, but sometimes there's nothing like having the piece of paper. All right, so let's take a look at the course syllabus and what we'll be doing over the next few weeks. I'll bring that up here. And the first thing I like to draw students' attention to is how to contact me, my information. So of course, right up here on the top of the syllabus, like so many of our syllabi here at Mercy College, they should have somewhat the same format for all of your courses. But you have my name here, you have my email address, and my cell phone number. So how to get a hold of me? By and large, most students use email, especially when you have a long form question, a much more detailed question. That works out real well. Then also a lot of students, if you have what I like a short form question, something very quick and easy to answer, hopefully, please use text messaging. I like that. I usually can get back to you very quickly within a few minutes, if not a few hours, depending on when I receive the text message and if I'm driving or whatever I'm doing at the time. But texting, you're definitely going to get a much quicker response from me. And I encourage you to do that. So please use text messaging. Again, use your judgment on whether it's going to be a long, lengthy answer. If you think it's going to be something kind of short, please feel free to use texting. And longer form questions, use that email. You can always call me as well. You can call me at this cell phone number. It also rings to my desk. They're all tied in together, so it's kind of one universal number for everything. If we need to have an active sort of a live conversation, I handle all of those by appointment because I know all of your schedules are so diverse for all the students, all the learners out there. So I think that's always worked out best with these classes. So we can always arrange a time that's convenient for you to have that appointment if necessary. All right, so that's the contact information, how we're going to do that. Of course, you have the course information on the other side, the right side. The biggest thing to remember there, or to draw your attention to, is that this is a 3-credit-hour class. So even though we're only doing this course over 8 weeks, it is 3 credit hours. So a typical 3-credit-hour course is going to be, historically is stretched out over 16 weeks. So this is a compressed course, so it does go fast. As many of you know who have been in these 8-week courses, you know they go very fast, and that's the reason why. It's the same amount of content, but just in a shorter time. So be ready for our pace. There's not a lot of downtime, if you will, in the course. Now, a little bit about the description if you haven't read that before, but what we're trying to do in this course, and you can read through the formal description, but ultimately, what we're trying to do in this course is get you familiar with the basics of finance. And I think that's the most exciting part for those of you that had me in accounting, or maybe you have some accounting background or previous classes. Finance and accounting are two different things. Accounting is sort of the language of business, and then finance is developing those stories. That's what's using the language to develop stories and narrative and to make decisions. And that's where I think it's really gets fun and exciting, is using the information produced by accounting to make as best decisions as possible. And that's what we're going to be looking at in this course. Some of the basic financial principles that managers, healthcare leaders will use in making some of those financial decisions in this course. We're not going to make you a top financial guru at the end of this, but you should have a pretty solid understanding of really the basics that you're going to need, the essentials that you're going to need in your career. You may not need, and most of you will not need, more than what you're going to get in this class that you will need throughout your entire career. Now, for those of you that might go into a deeper dive into finance, obviously there's much more depth. But for your general manager leader, this should provide you some really good building blocks that you could use all the way through your entire career. So that's what we're trying to do here. So that's our ultimate goal. One thing I want to hopefully bring your anxiety down about too is there's a lot of students who have some math anxiety. Now this is finance, and it's more math oriented than accounting. So there is going to be some mathy stuff in this class, but not too much. I want to just get you kind of playing with some of these principles, experimenting. You're not going to get, there's not going to be a tremendous deep dive into the formulas, because quite frankly, once you learn the formulas, you learn them, and then you never use them again because you use a calculator. So we will be using financial calculators in this course. Do you need to go out and run out and buy one? No. The beauty of the web and with our phones today is that you can get free ones, and I'm going to give you links as we go through the course. Please do not buy any calculators for this course. I'll give you links of some of the calculators I found out on the web, and we'll actually integrate those into our homework. So, but we'll go over the formula, the foundation that's behind the calculator, but we're not going to get too deep into that. So don't worry about the math. And I'm really looking at you practicing the concepts down. If you don't always have the correct answer, well, that's okay, but you should have the general concept. Now we're going to balance that sort of math type approach, numbers if you will, with narrative, with written work. So maybe you aren't so strong even with the math part. That's okay, because then there'll be sort of okay, now explain this process. Why is it important? What does it mean? And you'll put that like in actual narrative form. So for written and math, we'll have a little bit of both. Students usually do fantastic in this course, and I'll talk at the end about how to do great in the course. But so don't let the math throw you if you have a little bit of math phobia. All right, so there's a little bit about the description and my fair warning to not be too alarmed about number phobia. Add drop dates, of course, in the front there. Let's go through those course objectives real quick, and then we'll review these course objectives at the end of the course, and hopefully we'll say we've made all of our objectives here. So, number 1, describe the roles and responsibility of finance that healthcare organizations and administrators use for effective decision making. 2, demonstrate the use of basic financial theories. That's where we're going to play around a little bit, do some case studies, that kind of stuff. Apply financial concepts and practices commonly required for healthcare managers. Again, we're going to be doing some simulations, if you will. Explain the legal and regulatory financial requirements affecting healthcare organizations. So there's some confines that the government and regulatory agencies, accrediting agencies put upon us. We're going to discuss a little bit about that. And then discuss current issues and future trends for healthcare finance. And there are plenty. There are plenty going on right now in healthcare finance. It seems to be somewhat of a moving target for the healthcare financial leaders as healthcare goes through so much never-ending dynamic change. It never ends. There's never going to be an end to the change in healthcare. It's always going to be evolving, almost like a tech industry. It evolves so quickly. Part of that has to do with how we pay for healthcare and how we're trying to figure out how to pay for healthcare. And that's still always in question on how we're going to do that. So there's a lot to discuss there with current issues and future trends in healthcare. So hopefully by week 8, we'll revisit these 5 course objectives, and we'll hopefully be able to say that yes, we have met those 5 course objectives. All right, so course materials, textbook. So the textbook is the Introduction to Accounting and Financial Management. Again, for those of you that may have had the accounting course, not required, nice to have, not need to have for this course, we use the same textbook. So we use basically the first half in one course and the second half in another. Saves students money. It does go over all the essentials. The textbook, for those again who have been through me through this textbook in the previous course, is it's not perfect. It's a little heavy on theory, but we're going to take what we can from it. So know that it's about the best thing we have out there that covers both topics. So that is that. So make sure you do have the textbook in hand. I will be providing the reading for at least the first couple of modules for those of you that have ordered the textbook and maybe you haven't received it yet. So look for those PDFs that'll be in the course so you can at least keep up with the reading. You don't want to fall behind in that. And some of our homework will be tied into into some of the questions at the end of these chapters in the textbook. So we will not be doing any webcam presentations in this class, but I do like to put this in here. As a student in an online course, there may be some courses you'll take where you'll have to do a video presentation. So this is kind of the general fare of stuff that you would need to do that. All right, so let's get right to some of what we're doing in this class. And a lot of it's broken down right here on how we're going to determine your grade. The grade is based off of 1,000 points, and you can see here we've got a condensed list of assignments that have sort of a repeating cycle. I like, keeping things kind of predictable for you so you are able to plan out your weeks, since we only have 8 weeks in this class. And I know all of you are so busy with other classes, with work, with your family lives. So being able to kind of map out and predict your work week, both academically and with all these other factors, I think is really essential for your success. So I like to have somewhat recurring patterns in our modules. So one of the things I like to do is a progress journal. It's a great way for us to touch base. How am I doing? Is there something that I'm not clear on? Is there something an area that you need help in? I'll prompt you with questions that we'll do with the progress journals. One of the ones I really like is, maybe you found certain things that promoted your own success as a student. I like sharing that, with other students. So I really value the progress journals. They really are a good way for us to have a dialogue back and forth. So you'll have 3 of those strategically placed throughout the course. Nothing you need to study for. Nothing you need, no homework. You just gotta basically talk to me with these progress journals. So that's kind of 100 easy points. There's your first 100 points right there. Learning activities. This is sort of the homework of the class. This is where we're going to play with those financial calculators and do some of that. Typically more math oriented with those activities. But again, not always. So don't run for the hills. Okay. But we'll have one of those every week. Notice that those points are very well distributed throughout the entire course. It's 25 points a week. And it's 20% of the value of the course. You put in a good faith effort, even though your answers may be wrong, you put in a good faith effort, you're going to get a good grade on this. If you kind of mail it in, don't show your work, let's say if it is a financial math problem type, and you don't show any work, and the answer is wrong, you might have some issues there and getting some points. So you definitely show the work in that. And I'll tell you that in the instructions, so don't worry about that. But again, a good faith effort, showing logic, reason that you've actually tried to take the information from the textbook, from the videos, and apply it to the learning activity, and you're going to do really, really well there. So don't worry about that. Final exam. So we'll have one final exam worth 150 points at the end of the course. We'll also have 2 midterm exams. Now notice we have no weekly quizzes. So in lieu of that weekly quiz, we'll have just a couple of midterms in there to kind of take the temperature and see how you're doing with that format. Again, those are 75 points apiece, and you have 2 of those. The other thing you'll have is a topic essay. Now this is where that written part that I was talking about a little bit earlier, where you're going to do, there'll be a financial topic and you'll write about it. And that's really, I think, where you're going to, the greatest value for you as a learner in this course will probably come out of the topic essays. The part of with the math, playing with that we'll do in the learning activities is good. But as a manager, you're probably not going to be busting out the financial calculator that often. But you're going to be using that financial information provided by others within your organization to make decisions. And that's where I think understanding what that means is the most important part of this course, and how to apply that knowledge. And have a good background of what it is to get you there, but not actually crunching the numbers yourself. There'll be people who are really geeked about being in finance that'll do that. But you will want to know about the value of cash flows and the time value of money, how leases work. You'll want to know about that because you'll be making decisions based off of that information. Where we're going to try to bring that out is through those topic essays. And then lastly, we're going to have a case study. And this case study will be we'll run it through the entire course. So you'll be introduced to a case in Module 3. And then we're going to develop that case, that one single case. We're going to develop that through the entire course. So you'll apply some analysis and some thoughts in like phase 1. I'll be able to offer you feedback and insight, and then you'll keep developing that case until the very end. Now with case studies, there is no right or wrong answer. At least in the case studies that I use, there is no right or wrong answer. You may be going down a completely new and creative path I've never even heard about. And that's always wonderful when I see students do that. And it's very exciting to see, something that I've never even thought about with a case study. And that's totally okay. Now, a lot of these case studies are based in real life. So we can say, well, here's what really happened. But there are so many variables that can change the outcome of any business decision that it can be very difficult. So don't even worry about that. Again, there is no right or wrong answer to this case study. But what I want to see is, did you apply what we've learned to the case as you've developed your skills throughout the course, and you've built that, kind of built in your consultation, if you will, on this case. Did you apply those skills? And did you show an evolution in your thoughts of that particular situation? As we hope that it will, as you get a deeper understanding of finance throughout the course, is that deeper understanding helping you gain more insights into the information being presented. And that's hopefully what we'll do with the case study. So we'll have one case study, and we'll work on it through the entire course. Now notice that's 100 points. So it's not a tremendous value of points. I'm going to weight that assignment to be worth, 100 points. It's going to be significant, but not overbearing. So some of the case studies that I've done with other courses tended to be a little bit more higher value case studies. This one will be kind of moderate value, but we'll even spread this one case study out throughout this entire 8 weeks. So there we go, case study. So that's it. You have those assignments, and you'll have that kind of consistent rhythm throughout the course. All right, so let's go ahead and remove my picture here and kind of jump back into the course. The course has the typical layout, just like every other online course here that you have at Mercy College. Remember, this is only 8 weeks long, so you have 8 modules of learning. Those modules will typically open up every Sunday to you, so you kind of get a little preview of one day of what the module looks like. But our official work week starts on Monday, so that's when we kind of get going throughout this course. Notice that we do not have any threaded discussions in this course. Sometimes I run threaded discussions in other courses I teach, and sometimes not. And students have said sometimes it's nice to have a break from threaded discussions. Though I know you sometimes like dealing with your colleagues, other fellow learners in the course, but you'll probably have another course that you're doing that with. So right now, no threaded discussions will be in this course. So you can take a break from that. All right. So that really covers all of the essentials for this course. Now, I promised you about 18 minutes ago that I'd tell you the keys for getting a good grade in this course. It's very simple in that typically where students do not do well in this course is when they completely miss assignments. So never have a 0 in the grade book, even on a 25-point assignment. Now, I know sometimes things happen in life. I've been there. You got a sick kid, you're going to the ER. You just spent all night in the ER with the kid, throwing up. Been there, done that. It can throw everything out of whack for you. You had the perfect schedule of the week, and then you got called in for a double. Had that, a double shift. Had that happen. Things can happen, and I'm totally okay with that. Just let me know. I'm more than happy to extend a due date if necessary. Just let me know so I'm not looking for something in the Dropbox that's not there. Now, for late work, if you noticed in this syllabus here, I do have a policy on late work. And that is, I guess, my backup policy, if necessary. And that policy says that there's a 10% deduction on late work, which means eventually the late work reduces down to 0 points in value. Now, I'll never reduce an assignment down to 0. So there always will be some value for you in completing the assignment. There will be a deduction on points, simply, especially for those of the students that, have the assignment in on time, to respect that. But if for some reason, you're going to be late on an assignment, again, communicate with me. I want to work with you. We're all adult learners here. As long as we make those 5 course objectives that I talked about at the beginning of the course, that's really what I want to do. And we've demonstrated that you've made those 5 learning objectives. How do we demonstrate it? We demonstrate it through the homework and the stuff that you do in this course. So we got to have that stuff turned in so we can assess it and say, yep, we've made those 5 objectives for the course, or at least we've given you an opportunity to learn those 5 objectives in the course. Up to you whether you wish to tackle that or not. But I know that you're going to want to tackle that. So again, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions in going through this course. It's always exciting. I like finance. It's one of the things I've done all of my life. I think it's you'll really, hopefully, though it's not one of the course objectives, you'll see that finance is so important to your own, even your own personal life and professional life. Even if you have no desire to, after this course, you may go, yeah, okay, finance is great. I got this understanding, but I don't want anything to do with it. Fair enough. Totally understand. But finance will impact you, whether you like it or not. It's going to impact whether your company hires people, whether your organization downsizes, whether your organization buys that new MRI or gets rid of that new MRI machine or CT machine scanner. It will be the foundation of almost everything that will guide your professional career. So what you have to do is, even if you don't like finance, you can be able to apply it to how you're going to shepherd, how you're going to guide your own career. Let's say you're working for an organization and they're not doing very well financially, obviously finance. Do you wish to maintain your career at that organization knowing that they may not be around in 6 months? Are you able to predict where areas of growth are happening, within your organization or your profession? With finance, you can kind of, what do they say, follow the money? You can kind of follow the money and go, this particular area is kind of dying. This particular area is looking good. The financials look solid. Reimbursement rates are great for this type of activity. This is where I want to position my career. You can use finance to help guide your career. Even though it may not be what you're doing, it can help guide some of your choices. And even personally, you'll learn some concepts in here will be applicable even to your own personal life. Now, we do have a class that I teach on personal finance for healthcare professionals. That's only 1 credit hour. And that drills down, specifically to, our personal lives. But you'll be even able to extract some of this information from this course, pointing to the syllabus here, from this course, even in your own personal life. And all of us have to deal with finance in our own personal life. Buying a home, buying a car, How payments, how do they calculate my monthly payment on a car? It's finance, it's math, it's all there. Even insurance is somewhat financially based, also statistical based in that as well. But yes, so there's so much that it's in our own personal lives as well with finance. So hopefully you get value from that as well. So, all right, looking very forward to our next 8 weeks together. And again, any questions, problems, concerns as you go along, don't hesitate to contact me. All right, thanks for watching.